Hey, listen to Wrestling Roundup on FreeFM, ArrowFM, and MPR. As always, I'm Grady, and live on Skype we got Josh.
Hey.
This week's episode is pretty much entirely dedicated to the WWE Draft. Much like this show has realized for quite a while, it goes SmackDown, then Raw. It doesn't need to be in week order, but luckily, thanks to the way this all records out, we can talk about both halves of the draft in the same episode. And I'm going to be honest, I'm looking at a big picture here with a lot of superstars' faces on it. Where do you want to start?
Let's start with the first round on SmackDown. Might as well.
Yeah, first round on SmackDown, pretty much, at least the first two picks from each brand, just sort of protecting their world champions. Pretty smart decisions.
Yep. Drew stays on Raw. Roman stays on SmackDown. Everything stays the status quo in that department.
Yeah, I think you'd be a little foolish, kayfabe-wise, if you didn't pick your world champion first and, one brand ended with both world champions. That would be insane.
Like last year?
I don't know if my sarcasm was off the charts enough. Let me just turn that up even higher. That would never happen. But I also don't see either of these champions losing their belts because they switched brands. Last time we were able to fix it up a little bit. This one, maybe Drew, but there's no way Roman's losing his belt because he got brand shifted and he's got to lose it back to the other brand, for example.
Yeah, it would especially make pointless of making the blue belt for the Universal Championship.
Switch back to red. We can do it.
Yeah. So yeah, we just had 1 year where it was blue. Nothing important.
It just changes, okay? If we learned anything, I'm segueing here. If we've learned anything, belts can just change. If they're on the wrong brands, we just fix them.
Mm-hmm.
Because this night for SmackDown for me, obviously there was 20 draft picks throughout the night itself, but the story, the journey of the night, we start with Kofi Kingston and Xavier Woods are back, and we start with happiness and elation.
Yeah, or at least that's what I was told in my ear.
You please be happy, please, please cheer.
Yes. Yeah, in case anybody doesn't realize, I was part of the Thunderdome on Friday night.
Congratulations, one of those fast fingers clicking in and sending in the application. Being a part of that spectacle.
Yeah. It was interesting. But yeah, there was a lot of times when we were told how to react and when to react. And go crazy here, go crazy there.
I've been to a few...
Be shocked at this because this person came back, or be shocked at this because, oh my god, they did this.
Yeah, I've been to a few television tapings in general, and it seems like, that's the way you go in television tapings. As much as the applause sign lighting up as a joke, that's what happens when you go to a television taping.
Yeah. And, it's the boss you have to cheer for. That was a specific command.
Ah, yeah.
When Stephanie came out for the first time.
Overall good experience?
Yeah, it was a great experience. I got kicked out at the main event, but for an hour and 45 minutes, it was a heck of an experience.
And hopefully you get the fast fingers again. You can get back into another one.
I overslept, so it's not going to be this weekend. That's for sure.
Any Kiwis listening to this who want to try and get in, you're gonna have to wake up at about 4 a.m. That's about when the applications go live. Good luck.
Noon Eastern, by the way. Just throwing that out there.
For everybody who doesn't live in a New Zealand time zone, yeah. But yeah, rolling our way back. The story of the night, we started off, Woods, Kingston, they're back. We cheer, we're happy.
Big E gets a big win by absolutely demolishing the Thunderdome with Sheamus and a few cars in the process. And then Big E and is recovering, and out comes Xavier Woods and Kofi Kingston back from their injuries, and they decide we're going to challenge for the tag team titles, and so that happens.
So they get their 9th title reign.
Yep. Kind of shocking, but although also not that surprising at the same time.
I guess if we look back a week and you'd told me when we were recording last week's show, Woods and Kingston are going to return and win the SmackDown Tag Team titles, I'd have said you were lying. But now having seen
I would
it,
have said I believed it.
Yeah. Okay. What sort of magical foresight powers do you have?
It's the New Day. What do you expect?
That's fair. And you know we're full of this happiness, this elation, and you know it's the story that's been told throughout the night, and then
the 4th round of the draft hits.
Boom, straight to the gut punch. Just drafted to Raw is Kofi Kingston and Xavier Woods.
Yeah, the fact that they said Xavier Woods and Kofi Kingston said everything you needed to know about what was about to happen. Because I realized it before they told us to be shocked that they were breaking up the New Day. Because immediately afterwards, Stephanie said, and going to SmackDown, Big E Langston. Well, didn't say Langston because he dropped his last name a long time ago, but you get the point.
Yeah.
If
there's anything like that I play back from this episode and just listen to, it's the emotional screams from Xavier Woods just saying, say E's name.
Say his name. And then she does, but it's for SmackDown.
Yeah, not exactly in the way he wanted to.
Yes.
But yeah, the New Day, they had a segment on Talking Smack as well, and we've got this week their final match together. But as of for now, the New Day is going to be split across 2 brands.
Honestly, this is how it needed to happen. We didn't need a heel turn. We didn't need them turning against each other. A mutual breakup. Let's have them have one last hurrah on SmackDown on Friday. And then they shake hands and go their separate ways. And Big E then gets shot to the moon.
We say no heel turns and no breakups, but we do have one more match, one more week. Don't count it out. Don't ever think the WWE ain't gonna do it. Don't tempt them.
It wouldn't make much sense in the terms of the storyline right now, especially with how devastated they looked after the draft picks. But yeah, I mean, it's possible, but with the way they've been building Big E, he certainly can't.
Yeah.
And the New Day are on Raw as tag team champions. It doesn't make sense for them to turn. So
fingers crossed.
Yeah, fingers crossed for an amicable ending to the New Day storyline. And that always will then say, a couple years down the road, bring them back with fanfare. Because there won't be any of that traitorous overtones.
Yeah, they're still friends.
Yeah.
And to note with this, obviously when I was referring to bouts just switching around, conveniently over on the Raw half of the draft, the Street Profits, the current, at the time, Raw Tag Team Champions, were drafted to the Blue brand.
Yep. And immediately I had a thought come to my mind. Why don't they just do a segment where they swap the titles?
And
then I had a better idea of them doing a 2-fall match later on the night for the titles, and the other team wins the other title, other brand's title, so that the proper titles go to the proper brands. But yeah, it was this title switch, and Adam Pearce presided over it.
As Xavier Woods said, it's the most logical choice.
Yeah, it was definitely the logical thing to do. I can't really complain about it. It was what seemed to be the right thing to do, outside of my crazy 2-fall match. But yeah, we got to see a brief segment with the Street Profits and 2/3 of the New Day at the same time. So that was fun.
10-time champs?
Yep, officially.
10-time champs. Well, two of them are 10-time champs. Not all of the New Day. Just one more sad punch to the gut. We've still got a little bit of time here on the SmackDown side. Obviously, we've talked about the big story surrounding the tag team titles. We've talked about the world titles. Is there anything else from the SmackDown side of the draft that you want to give a little bit of time this week on the show?
How about the fact that SmackDown didn't draft all of any women other than Sasha, Bayley, their champion, protect that title, and then randomly at the end, Carmella of the Raw half of the brand. That was all that they actually drafted.
We also had Bianca Belair in round 2 on SmackDown.
Yeah, but yeah, that's all they drafted. The entire 2 shows, the rest were drafted quotation marks in between the shows.
Yeah, the supplementary picks, Raw Talk, Talking Smack, and some free agent picks as well.
But it just like every round would be like, you'd go by and it's like, who is Bayley going to have and Sasha going to have the face in their division?
Yeah.
All the women were going to Raw.
Yeah, it was a little bit of a rough draft for the SmackDown Women's division prior to any of the extra supplementary stuff. Like if we look at the active wrestlers, and I'm sorry if I missed someone from the SmackDown Women's division, we've obviously got Bayley as the champion, Sasha Banks currently chasing, Bianca Belair being built up, hasn't really had much in-ring action as of yet. Zelina Vega, that is on the main roster. Zelina Vega had a couple losses against Asuka, is there. Natalya, not doing a lot. Tamina, not doing a lot. Billie Kay, not doing a lot. You got 3 good talents there to hold your roster up.
And then a whole bunch of question marks that can become stars. Is it Peyton or Billy that's on SmackDown?
Billy on SmackDown, Peyton on Raw. Don't make me cry more tears.
So like Billie Kay.
Okay. I have a feeling that was a totally innocent mention, but you reminded me again. I shall not accept this. But yeah, there's definitely options to build in that division. And obviously the Sasha Bayley stuff is gonna be the center of that division in the meantime anyway.
Yeah. That was just a major thing that I just could not believe that I was seeing. That SmackDown had to fill its roster with the signing of talent rather than actually using draft picks.
Yeah. Alrighty, well, we are roughly halfway through the show. That means it is time to play the music. This week, NXT, and Halloween coming up next week, everything. We got some Halloween Havoc coming to us, hosted by Shotzi Blackheart. Seems like a great opportunity to play a really old theme from WCW. I'll find the exact year. 1998.
It was 98.
It is what it is. Thank you, Josh, for this pick. Back to Wrestling Roundup on FreeFM, ArrowFM, and MPR. I'm Grady, he's Josh, and we've still got over half the draft to talk about. Let's just crack into the first round picks at least of who we got here. Raw picking up The Fiend, Randy Orton, and Charlotte Flair. SmackDown picking up Bayley and the Street Profits in a pretty early pick, who we already obviously talked about with the title switches.
Yeah. We're on with Raw. There really wasn't any surprises. All the picks were pretty much to protect storylines, almost. There weren't any anything shocking like with the New Day being broken up, or there wasn't really anything surprising as far as debuts, unlike on SmackDown with Lars Sullivan returning, who was drafted by SmackDown, by the way. So yeah, that was it was pretty much by the books. Orton stayed on Raw, so that feud, which is going to Hell in a Cell, is going to be for the WWE Champion, and they're definitely going to keep their title on brand. So yeah, Charlotte was drafted first round. Maybe that means we're going to see her come back soon.
I'd imagine so. Otherwise, it's a bit of a weird pick. A lot of SmackDown's picks, at least in this first round, seem like totally in kayfabe now at this point. Sort of desperation picks, like they were on the back foot. You know, we got to get our SmackDown Women's Champion. We can't let them have both champions. We got to get a set of tag team champions. And Raw's just in the middle of this going, well, we'll have The Fiend, we'll have Randy Orton, and we'll have Charlotte, thank you very much.
Yeah. And in the next round, they get Braun.
Because of the way the picks work out, obviously they get the first and last pick of each round. So yeah, Raw won that first segment there quite clearly in terms of the talent they were able to pick up and snatch from SmackDown in the case of Braun and The Fiend.
I think they may have gone a little overboard on undoing what they did last year with the draft, because last year they loaded SmackDown up. Seems like this year they went in the complete reverse and loaded Raw up.
Yeah, I don't have the stats in front of me, but I want to say over half of superstars switch brands here. Like, there is a lot of brand switching and a lot of big name talent heading to Raw.
Yeah. Well, that was our big complaint. It was like, after Orton, if your boy retains, who does he face? Well, now he has at least like 5 or 6 names that you can throw out.
Yeah, Drew sitting behind him obviously got Randy Orton, Keith Lee, they were there before, Braun Strowman, The Fiend, coming over from SmackDown, Bobby Lashley and the whole Hurt Business obviously got that US title, but they're sitting around there. AJ Styles, Matt Riddle, they're coming over from SmackDown. Plenty of guys here, and that's just like a random top 8 list. You know, you've still got some smaller guys who could play mid-card, could try and to break in up the top. Your Ricochets, your Eliases, your Sheamuses.
Your Retribution,
major wild card at the moment with Ali in the lead. Jeff Hardy could have a resurgence. The options have definitely opened up.
This draft also made me realize WWE has a heel problem right now. They have a few too many.
Just a little.
But yeah, it was just weird watching the draft. Like, clearly last year SmackDown won. I think this year it was clear that Raw won.
I think
But that gives SmackDown the chance to build more stars, which has always been its strength. So I want to see where they go, what stories they develop, because they've been developing some good stories on SmackDown. And who do they elevate?
Yeah, because for SmackDown, in terms of guys they got that they can elevate, they're already doing it with Jey Uso. We got Dominic, we got Big E's on the rise, we got Murphy sitting over here, Kalisto separating from the Lucha House Party. They had Shorty G, they didn't do a whole lot, they still got him. We got Apollo Crews, a little bit on the rise at the moment. Plenty of talent that he can develop.
Yeah, that was something else we forgot to mention. They drafted the entire Seth Rollins, Dominic, Rey Mysterio angle.
Yeah.
When we thought we might be done with it. Nope.
Yeah.
But also killing a promising young tag team in Dominic and Humberto in the process.
Yeah, it's a little rough, but I guess we talked about there being a smaller pool of superstars on SmackDown to compete with. I think Dominic's really going to shine on SmackDown here once they wrap up the whole Mysterio Rollins thing.
And that's another thing we need to talk about. The theme seemed to be, besides Raw getting one in over on SmackDown, let's break up all the tag teams.
Let's count how many tag teams we have left. So on Raw, we obviously got our champions, Kingston and Woods, who did get separated from the New Day. Miz and Morrison coming over. Lucha House Party, 2 of the 3 coming over. And then I guess if you want to call the Hurt Business a tag team, they can be in there. So like 3 or 4 tag teams on Raw. And if you're looking at SmackDown, you got the champions, the Street Profits, Nakamura and Cesaro, Rude and Ziggler, and you're done. You got 3.
So yeah, they're going to have to pull out a hammer and some nails and cobble together some tag teams.
Yeah. You lost Heavy Machinery. You lost a third of the New Day. You lost a third of Lucha House Party. You lost Dominic and Humberto. Andrade and Garza looked like it was already on the outs, but you pretty much lost it at this point. Viking Raiders, still one half of them hurt. There's the pool is not that deep for tag teams.
Nope. So they're going to have to do some soul searching. They're going to have to find some unusual tag teams. Speaking of unusual tag teams, my favorite tag team right now is Drake Maverick and Killian Dane in NXT.
Yeah, unusual is definitely an adjective, yes.
So yeah, and I would put out a warning to Everrise, who tried to attack Drake Maverick. Nobody attacks Killian Dane's little buddy. Except Killian Dane.
Of course.
Which is what he said, actually.
Nice.
Nobody hits you but me.
It's definitely a big brother, little brother kind of relationship there. And it's refreshing to see.
Yeah, this is going to be fun to watch it play out. That's got to be the eventual storyline finish for this. It has to be the NXT Tag Team Championship. Mm-hmm. And I think that will be an epic conclusion to Drake's fight to stay in the WWE.
Yeah. And if that fight does, obviously both teams are acting a little bit face at the moment, but if that fight is Breezango versus Dane and Maverick, could be an absolute barn burner.
Yeah.
And let's roll back. We got about, I'm doing my epic math in my head, 3-ish, 4-ish minutes left. Is there anything from the Raw side of the draft, the supplemental stuff, or anything like that we want to allot some time to make mention of?
Well, technically there were only 2 people that weren't drafted. I'm not sure what the reason is for Mickey. But I have heard that Andrade wasn't drafted because he's going to be having some kind of procedure done and it's going to be gone about a month.
Okay.
So that would make sense, and then when he would come back obviously to Raw, because his fiance, Charlotte Flair, was drafted to Raw.
Yeah, it was a little weird. I guess having him in the draft pool if he wasn't going to get drafted. Mickie James is even weirder of a shaft. Like she's going off on Twitter, so I don't know if it's part of an angle there. And there's some sort of redemption arc coming of just because I'm old doesn't mean I can't still go kind of thing. I don't know.
Maybe they can do the Heath Slater storyline, but do it right this time with Mickey. I don't know. Send her to NXT. Let her be part of that for a little bit.
Yeah.
Then she probably could teach some people some things too. Yeah, I can't really say that. Those 2 picks definitely stood out as non-picks. But the more I've heard, the more it makes sense on the Andrade part. Which is weird because last year he was a first-round draft pick for Raw. And then he wasn't drafted the next year.
Logic says just don't put him in the pool, but okay. I'll let them have him not ready to compete kind of thing.
So yeah, we'll have to see where they go from there as far as those 2 go. But yeah, that's the draft was definitely interesting, to say the least.
I really like what we're doing here, or at least what it seemed like we were doing here. We've mentioned season premiere coming up next week, or this week. I like it. Every year, having a bit of a shake-up, calling it a new season, going ahead.
Yep. Yeah, they hit the reset button, definitely. I honestly think that the draft would have been better off being one night, pick which show you want, I don't care, and them doing like the old school Raw versus SmackDown matches to determine who gets the draft pick, and then randomly select somebody.
Yeah.
I think that would have been better. It would have still shook things up, but you wouldn't have had to make this elaborate thing about all these draft picks and they go overboard on one side or the other.
Alrighty then, well that is our final thoughts on the WWE Draft for 2020. Looking forward to the season premieres coming up next week. It's been great talking to you, Josh.
Bye.
You can visit our Facebook page, facebook.com/WrestlingRadio, our Twitter page, twitter.com/WrestlingRadio, and we'll see you next week.